Welcome to another episode of Air Guns and Piston channel. This is part 2 of the CZ Slavia 634 rebuild. I went to Vortek. This was been yesterday, a Saturday, the 29th, the 30th. And they're only an hour and a half from my location. And picked up a couple of these kits along with two others for my HW97 20 cal and the Beeman R1 Chamber 177. But these are the spring kits I picked up for the Slavia. And here it is. Main spring, piston seal, grease. And I do have a breech seal from this kit right here. So we're just going to put it, we're not going to use this piston seal because when I showed it to Tom, it's very squishy compared to his seal, which is pretty firm. It's gonna make some decent power, decent seal, and power. So there you have it. Originally, I'd ordered a spring kit on eBay, and they were out of Poland. This is their version. This is a brand new spring. Very similar to the Vortek one, but obviously the Vortek looks to be a better quality, which it is, because I've used their kits on all my spring guns, except for the two Slavias that I own now and HW97 20 cal, which I just picked up, and a Beeman R1 I picked up not too long ago. And all of them are going to be Vortek tuned kits installed. But this is their version. This is the original spring right here. A little shorter. So we're going to put the Vortek in and see what kind of difference it's going to make. I'm not so much worried about the power as I am about the shot cycle, to smooth it out. So I'm going to go ahead and use the provided main spring grease to grease up the spring and a little bit on the piston seal. I'm not going to record that. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and get the spring all lubed up and get ready to reinstall back in the piston, the spring chamber of the gun. Be right back. Okay, I installed a new piston seal. This is the old one right here. And the new one's been installed. It's all greased up. Now, the guides. This one came out of the new kit from Poland. This is the original one. I'm going to use the longer one simply because it's going to keep the spring from binding when I cock the gun. So the longer one is going to be what I'm going to use in this particular case. Just like that. All the rest of this is just extra parts. Save for another day. So let me go ahead and get it set up in the spring compressor. By the way, the spring compressor, if you don't know what I'm using, it's made by Sun Optics. You have to go on their website, and it's a very nice unit, fully adjustable for any spring gun out there. So let me go ahead and get the assembly process going. Be right back. Okay, so I'm able to screw the back part of this into this part here. And now I'm going to go ahead and release it. Since I already got everything in place, the spring's in. Just going to screw this housing, this back plate housing, flush so I can go ahead and get the trigger assembly put back together. So let me go ahead and remove this. And finish screwing it down by hand with the aid of that screw that I added. The screw right here on the end to help screw it in. Okay, so now she's flush. Now I can put the spring, the pin, and the trigger blade all back into this housing. So let me take care of that. And getting close to testing the gun out. Okay, the trigger assembly, trigger blade, and all that's all back together. And install a new breech seal. Now this right here, this tag, I'll go ahead and put it in my descriptions for those that have a Slavia 634 or 631. It's going to take the same kit, so I'll include the info about the kit that was just installed in my Slavia. Now the only thing that's left to do is to drop the action back in the stock and install the scope and get some readings. So here is the gun I'll put back together. I went ahead and changed the optics on this gun. I went ahead and added a one-piece scope mount, and I added a completely different scope. It's a Edinburgh 312 by 44 with side focus, and this particular scope is supposedly shockproof. We'll see. I had to get the original scope, which was a UTG with the AO up front, and I can't stand those kind of scopes, so I decided to go ahead and go with this side focus. I have them on my other springers, and so far they've been pretty good. So we'll see how long it's going to last. I got these on Amazon, so keep my fingers crossed, and hopefully the scope will last. So what I'm going to do now is set up the gun, shoot over the crony to see what this Vortek kit actually did to the gun. But I can tell you right now, just by cocking it and shooting it a few times, it's a lot smoother, the firing cycle, which is a big improvement overall. So let's see what we got. 10 shots over the crony. All right, I shot it over the crony. Before I disassemble it, I did 5 shots with the 8.4 grain air arms. The extreme spread was 3 standard deviation of 1, and that was 735 feet per second. Now I just shot it just 10 times, and I know the spring is still settling in, breaking in, but what I got was a spread of 15, deviation of 5, 10 shots, same pellet, and it picked up 35 FPS for an average of 770 versus 735. But that's not the reason why I put the kit in. I put the kit in because I wanted a little smoother shot cycle, and it did. So it did gain a little more FPS. It's still breaking in. So I'm gonna be shooting it, zeroing in tomorrow, zeroing the gun in, at which time I'll go ahead and do a separate video with me zeroing this gun at 30 yards. But that was it for the part 2 of the Slavia 634 rebuild. Fairly simple to do. Just need a spring compressor, and if you're the type that's mechanically inclined, I say you can do this yourself. But if not, I suggest you take it to a gunsmith, that's capable of doing the spring chain for you. And this procedure is pretty much for all brake barrels as far as disassembly and reassembly. Shoot straight, may your pellet hit its target, and we'll see you on the next episode of Air Guns and Piston Channel. See ya.